And welcome inside a Wednesday edition of the Backstage Pass, always here and in living color, always at the sportsguyspodcast.com, which we're powered by, and of course over at the YouTube channel, the Backstage Pass, getting more subscribers every day. So appreciate you guys checking out all the shows out there too, as we have just brunt of shows coming up this week. Tomorrow, Lacey J. Dalton comes by, of course, the Hall of Famer that she is too. Great recognition. We're going to talk a lot about some things going on in her camp. And then, of course, Friday, from American Idol, you know her, you love her, a good friend of the show, Lacey K. Booth, going to drop by this Friday too as well, and some more exciting stuff over the next few weeks here on the Backstage Pass, presented by our friends over at Hank Jr. Productions and of course Bangtail Whiskey. Pleased to welcome back. She contacted me again just a couple of days ago, and I said, you know what, we got to get her back on, as this single is out there across all the digital platforms and at radio right now. It's called Ohio. Our good friend Deidre Thornell joins us here on the Backstage Pass. Deidre, how you doing?
Hi, I'm so good. I'm so pumped to be here, Brandon. Thanks for having me on.
Well, it's good to have you back too. Well, let's start right there. I'm going to go on record as I do reviewing these singles and these albums that most of these camps ask me to do now these days. And I say, man, Ohio is a top 10 radio single, no doubt, hands down for me. You can put that in any quote out there for any digital team or any media outlet, because I like to give those type of quotes when the due diligence is there. Tell us how this got started. And I mean, the push to radio, your camp has to be excited. And for you guys, tremendous writing on the song too as well.
Brandon, that truly means a lot. So the song kind of came about when I crossed paths with a really beautiful, lovely person back in 2020. Her name is Liz Doros, and she had just recently moved to Nashville with her family. And, we got to story swapping about our lives, our journeys, and we were, there was a lot of talk about both of our backgrounds and everything. And so we decided, let's give writing a try together. And she, prior to meeting me, had a long history of writing for different publications and different magazines and doing things like that. And so she really, when she exposed that information, it made a lot of sense, because she she had a folder this thick of papers when we got together. And I said, do you mind if I, like, take a look at some of the things that you've written? She's like, yeah, so I mean, tears were just streaming in my face. I was so inspired, so happy that this walked into my life, and literally out of thin air, literally out of nowhere. And when we got together, we wrote simple things first, and then we continued on our writing path together with touring guitarist Hasley. And one day I drove over to his house, and we were sitting there trying to, throw around some ideas. And there's this one in particular that she kind of kept nudging toward me. And you know me from being from Texas and now living in Tennessee. There was a song that kept pushing in Ohio in the name of it. And I thought, I'm not really sure, being a Texas girl and like living in Tennessee. And so then she went on about like the beautiful stories that she had growing up in Ohio, and like talking about first loves. And I shared with her my first loves. And then all of a sudden I had this instant connection. I have chills like talking about it, because the way that it all happened was so natural, so organic. And then we started, get down to the nitty gritty on paper, so to speak. We had my laptop, she had her paper, but all of a sudden, she said, Tim sent me this guitar lick the other day. She said, like, while we're kind of at this point, let's just take a listen to that. And so she gets her computer out, she plays it, and the words that we had kind of crafted together all of a sudden came pouring out of my mouth in song form, thanks to Tim's
Mm-hmm.
hook. And the driving down love's first road was his guitar hook. And
Mm-hmm.
even though that was the verse of the song, we were like, oh, is that the chorus? Is this the verse? And, it just, the whole runaround of creating a song is really cool, in the collaboration part. And, Elizabeth is amazing for bringing the idea to the table. And for us, and for her, I mean, I'm grateful that she allowed me to come in her life and use that song. And, we kind of tore it apart and put it back together. And, and this song was born out of that. And of course, then taking it as a super rough guitar vocal work tape, then taking it to Sal Oliveri for production was absolutely top notch. I mean, have you seen this guy's resume?
I have not actually. I need to probably check check that out, or at least it's been a while and it just escapes my memory right about now. But I need to probably go back and watch that again.
He's absolutely incredible. I don't care how many publications, how many interviews, how many bloggers I have to tell about this man. Working with him in the studio was an absolute dream. And Elizabeth or Liz was the one, kind of pushed me uh, for reaching out to him. And uh, I've been in Nashville about 7 years now, and I tried to explain to her, he's not going to reach back out to me. Like, he's never going to respond. Like, trust me. Like, I know the music industry in Nashville at this point. And what happens? I reach out to the guy. He couldn't have been nicer. I mean, he was just so opening and welcoming and just so receptive, and had researched me as soon as I reached out, and he complimented my voice and my writing, and was very excited to get together and work together. And I mean, I just called her crying. Oh my gosh,
Mhm.
thank you so much for telling me to reach out to him. He responded back. And it just goes to show, you just never know. And that's why you can never give up. You can't stop, and you just have to continue pushing forward. And, I'm such an optimist to the point where sometimes it can literally kill me at times. But
Mhm.
I just, there, it just goes to show you just never know. I mean, this whole journey with her, with Tim, with Sal, and the production of this song, Ohio, and now the responses that my Texas friends and family and fans are sending me about a song about Ohio, and people in Florida are loving it even more. The streams in Florida are like out of this world right now. It's
Mhm.
like, wow, so it's just crazy. It's wild. I'll never understand it.
You really can't. You just take the ride and ride the wave as best you can. Tell me about this. You've come a long way ever since we last talked. Since even before that, you mentioned about Nashville being there about 7 years. Texas Country Showdown. A lot of people know you from. We talked about this last time with just relying heavily on growing up with some of the classics, Patsy Cline, and some of those musical influences you had as a young kid. But coming all the way from that particular reality show, we're seeing more and more of these shows come out there now. The Voice, Idol, things like that. I think these things are really good for artists who may not otherwise have a chance to get their material out there. You have some of those memories from the show from Texaco Country Showdown.
Oh my gosh, the best. Oh, I wouldn't even know where to begin. I mean, I had performed a million times trying to get past the local level, and I think a couple times I get to regional finals, but state finals. I never could get to regionals to then have even a chance to make it to Nashville. And so I took a year off, and I transferred to North Texas to finish college. And during that time, my mom, my biggest supporter, right, she reached back out to me and she said, hey, I think you should give this, competition another chance and just see what happens. And of course, again, no, like, you just don't understand. Like, I don't. She's like, come on, just like do it one more time, and then like I'll stop bugging you about it. And of course, look what happened. I ended up winning local, and then I won the state, and then I went to the Shreveport, Louisiana, for the Louisiana State Fair, is where the regionals were held. And
Mhm.
the artists that performed on the stage that night, I mean, I can remember like it was yesterday. There was a girl that got up there on her keyboard, with the band that played backing force. She just killed it. I mean, she had the crowd going. She had me crying on one of her songs, and I had to perform next after her. I mean, it was just like. And then this other guy, he was tall, he was bald, he had a guitar. I cannot remember his name, but gosh, then he gets up and I'm like, oh, he's winning for sure. Like, I don't have a chance. And then I get up there and I sing and I get off stage, and my mom's like, great. And I mean, honestly, I was about to say, like, okay, you ready to go to the car? And she's like, why aren't we gonna stay? And I'm like, between all the performers here tonight, I mean, there's no way. Called my name, and it just was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to Nashville. So when I get to Nashville for the national finals, there were five of us, that got to perform at the Ryman, got to meet Jewel, and she was the host of the show, and it aired on Great American Country Television, which was really
Mhm.
cool. And the whole experience, meeting the brother Robertson, they were one of the contestants. became good friends during that time. And we all went and hung out together, and went on Broadway and like sang karaoke of the nights. And my mom's just along for the ride, it was the coolest thing ever. And, I think the best memory I'll have to cherish forever is singing on the Ryman Auditorium stage.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the sound, standing where legends of country music and now all sorts of genres of music play at the Ryman now. I mean, you know that, it's like hip hop groups, swing groups, swing full band, the Ryman now caters to all sorts of different types of music in Music City, but performing on that stage is definitely up there, a highlight for me for sure.
I think I remember this correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, but going back to the young days before the Texaco Country Showdown, you had a run in with a multi-platinum songwriter in Ron Grimes. Now, am I correct on this one? And then two, tell people this story because that last name Grimes has a little bit of a ring to it there too as well, no doubt about it. Because I just love this story. I guess I'm correct on that, right?
Yeah, I mean, wow. I don't know where you found that information from because between all the changes and throughout the years, updating like the bio and the press kit and just like going through this musical journey, there are little hints I'm sure that people could find online. But gosh, in high school is when I first started writing songs, but I did that because a lot of contacts come to find out said that before you make it to Nashville, you've got to be able to kind of like be this triple threat, right? You got to learn how to write songs. So, at 13, 14 years old, my parents were going through divorce at the time, and I was recording this like 15 song demo album thing, and it was at a studio in Garland, Texas, Audio Dallas Studios with Paul Osborne. And I remember being in the booth, with a big old headset on, recording, singing my songs, and my mom was talking to Paul, and I remember her saying something like, she wants more out of this music career. I don't know what to do for her. I don't know who to call. I don't know where to go. And so she said she's, we're going through this divorce. Like maybe she could write songs. We've heard that from several people. Like, what do we do? And Paul said, I have a buddy, his name's Ron. He used to work with LeAnn Rimes, and he's the nicest human being you'll ever meet. He has such good people. Let me just call them right then and there. And Ron, of course, is just amazing and just was so open to me coming to work with him. So one day after school, I got my, notebook together, and, my mom dropped me off at Ron's hair salon over in Louisville. And it was such a cool experience. We walked upstairs to his studio, and he just let me pour into him just about the divorce and like the family. And I had no idea how many different emotions that I was feeling until I just like talked to somebody about it. And then he just picks up his 12-string guitar, right? Like there's not a lot of people who can play a 12-string, really well. And it was just the coolest thing ever. And he starts playing this, kind of train sort of thing, and kind of humming some lyrics, and I'm writing stuff down, and he's writing stuff down. And he helped me write one of the first songs called Destination Unknown. And that was it was this beautiful, optimistic, kind of like, I don't know where I'm going, but, I'm going to tear off that rear view mirror. There's no looking back, and I keep pushing forward, which is kind of, I don't know, I guess mantra now that I'm thinking about it and talking about it out loud. But yeah, it's cool. I love Ron. We wrote a handful of songs together, and I ended up recording that I think when I was 14 or 15. And that was the first album that I ever put out, was Destination Unknown.
Well, that's the pride we take in this program, and always tell people is we're going to dig a little bit of information up, and me and the co-host, and of course when I'm by myself and I got a little time on my hands, I'm going to find some good dirt there, which is good stuff there. Not bad dirt, good dirt too as well. So
that goes way back.
Yeah, trying to be a fixture on the Nashville scene now, you got to really know your stuff to keep up with the times, because there is great competition out there for these type of shows, and we just want to definitely stand apart and do our best out there to do the homework. Let me go back to this. I know we talked about this a little bit last time, but EP Dallas comes out after this, and you got to work with some amazing people. great songs on that particular record that I liked very much, even being here in Texas and listening to a lot of Texas country myself, and even just country in general. Kirsty Manna was on that record, I believe, too, as well. And you did a lot of stuff with Mark Mulch. Tell everybody about this EP, because it still holds a special place in your heart, right?
Oh yeah, I mean that was my first Nashville produced set of songs. The first set of songs that I wrote when I first got here, and Melissa Balea helped set up the co-write with Kirsty Manna, and I'll forever be grateful for that. I mean, Kirsty is just the coolest person ever. She has that kind of raspy, bluesy, like R&B voice. Like even when she talks, she's like sassy and just like, man. Have you met her before? She's just a
I've
doll.
not met Kirsty. I really want to. I know she worked with Blake Shelton, and I think she did some stuff with Big and Rich too, right?
Yep, yep.
Okay.
And
I
she
need.
she hosts this songwriter girl camp, and I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on this, but I believe Kelsey Ballerini was on the very beginning side of that, whenever Kirsty started that.
Mhm.
But she does a lot for her community, and she's always wanting to like constantly learn, and she travels and she plays outside of Nashville still. And I was telling her about my journey from Dallas to Nashville, and how was this guy I was seeing, and we kind of stopped that um, right as I was moving here, and how difficult it was at the time. So she really was able to help me capture that lyrically and melodically. Oh, she walked over to that piano in her living room and just went to town, and I was done. I mean, she's just amazing.
Just great people. And you mentioned,
And
I know Mark Mulch has done some things with some other great guests we've had here. Randy Rogers has been on this program a couple of
oh,
times, and I believe Mark also did some stuff with another show favorite. I love her stuff. She's booming out there now, Priscilla Block. So you're very these type of songwriters and these people that help put together these projects. That you never ever, you're right, to take that for granted, because that when the people try to reach out a helping hand, it's pretty cool. You get to work with names like that.
yes, I met Mark also through Melissa, and our first co-write, which he knew before we started diving into the song. But he said, "I hear there's a band that's one of your favorites," and I said, "Oh yeah, I'm a Texas girl, and I've sung the national anthem before events, and for them to play, but it's actually Randy Rogers band." And
Hmm.
he's laughing. He said, "Well, tell me about your journey with them." As I told him, and he's like, "That's pretty cool." He said, "Are you familiar with the movie Country Strong?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Steal You Away," by Randy Rogers was also put in there. And and he's like, "Man, like it was such a shock, when they picked that song." And I mean, I just flipped out. I couldn't believe that I was sitting in the room, new to Nashville, with the songwriter of one of my favorite songs on one of my favorite, still to this day, Randy Rogers albums. And then, of course, like when you're in Nashville, meeting these people, you never know who you're going to be in circles with. And so during this time, after we had written a few songs together at this point, Mark said, "Well, hey, for CMA Fest, I'm playing at Pete and Terry Tavern attached to Bridgestone. Do you want to come, watch a few of the people that I play and write with and stuff like that?" And I said, "Sure." So I was able to meet, Hastings from Hastings and Co. And
Hmm.
I met Priscilla Block and Sarah Jones, and I mean, just Kara, like, just met all these amazing people that I've watched throughout my time here in Nashville. And now, I mean, where Priscilla is now, I saw her this past CMA Fest, and we hugged and we caught up for a little bit, and she got up and sang at Pete and Terry's just like she did, 4 years ago, and gave it the same spunk, same attitude, and just, she kills it every time. And, I'm so happy to see success for her, but as well as Mark. Mark's been in Nashville a long time, and
Hmm.
he's had crazy success as a songwriter, musician, and artist himself. I love songwriting together. I don't want to like drop too many breadcrumbs. Not sure if my team will kill me for this or not, but I have a couple songs coming out maybe in
Uh
2023 that may or may not be written with Mark. So
oh.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
We're getting the
Finally.
exclusive here on the backstage passes we're trying to do. That's all we call it, the backstage pass. Well, I tell you what, conversation goes by. I'm having a good time catching up with you, no doubt, and still want to talk about a single that you released last year. You guys were busy during the pandemic called The Rest of Forever, which was one of my favorites out there. It's across all the digital platforms. You guys can check it out. We'll do a quick timeout. I know you want to sing for us too, so definitely we'll come back after a word from Bangtail Whiskey. Check them out, bangtail.com, or download that Easy Liquor app. And you guys can get that bottle sent directly to your door. Online shopping at its best with Bangtail Whiskey. We'll come back with more with Deidre Thornell here. It is the Backstage Pass Wednesday, September 28th. Just a couple days to go in September. And then we welcome in October and a lot of cooler weather here in Texas, which is very much appreciated, no doubt. Quick time out here, coming right back with Deidre on the Backstage Pass. Stay tuned.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. And back here on the show again, Deidre Thornell joining us here talking about the latest single, Ohio, across all the digital platforms. So make sure you guys check that out. Tomorrow, the legend Lacey J. Dalton back here on the show, talk about some big-time awards that she's received in the industry. And then Friday, we wrap up the week, Lacey K. Booth here on the show. And we track down another great husband and wife combo here in a couple of weeks. We'll check in with Haley and Michaels coming up here on the broadcast too as well. Some more great talent we find, or they find us out there here on the Backstage Pass. I tell you what, let's have you sing a little bit for us here. Again, the latest single is Ohio, and I know you don't have the guitar with us, but you're going to sound great either way, so it doesn't matter without the guitar. You've got the beatbox there, so let's have you sing a little bit for us there of Ohio. Take it away.
All right, let me get my stuff situated here.
Go for it. No doubt.
Let me know if this is okay.
Sounds good to me. I'm good.
Okay, I'm going to take one ear out. Here we go.
Here we go.
Traveling down this first road, this small town here in Ohio. Days along as a golden river, thought we had forever together. Ready to fall in love, not open up, Ohio. Yeah. Our big dreaming hearts were hanging low. We were too young then to really know that first love always ends. And you gave it our best go in Ohio. That's all you get.
We'll take what we get here on the show, no doubt. I like that too. The rest of it, you guys will listen to it. Go grab the single across wherever you download music out there. Hey, let me ask you about this one. A couple songs. I know it's been a while since we talked. I want to start with The Rest of Forever. And you guys keeping busy during the pandemic. What was the idea behind this one? Because I thought, again, you hit the nail on the head with another fantastic song that really tells a story. You're good about storytelling in your songs too, in your music. And I like the fact that it had a nice ring to it, The Rest of Forever.
Oh, thanks, Brandon. I'm not exactly which parts of the story I'm supposed to share on this one, so I'll keep it pretty vague. I don't want to spill any beans that I'm not supposed to here, but basically, Valerie Gale, she's a dear friend of mine, and she moved to Nashville and gave me some terrible news that she was going through a terrible breakup and then, divorce leading after that, and, was telling me the ins and outs of kind of what was come through all of that. And so I looked her in the eye and I said, you get your butt back here to Nashville although I've never been married before, I come from divorced parents, and I think that we might be able to collaborate on something because people need to hear your story, period. And I said, what a really great way to find inspiration. And I said, I don't mean that in like a terrible way. I just mean that like you're going through this, and like not only will it be healing for you, for me, for other women, for other families, for other people who are going through, rough, rocky, terrible times, terrible situations, it will be something that I will be able to, if we record it and things go well, like it'll be something for me to be able to look back and have great memories about. So I sent her some interview questions, and in the meantime, she books a trip to Nashville and then answers my interview questions. And so then I went through and I highlighted what I thought would be really great song titles, and reached out to a few writers, one being Bill DiLuigi, who I've written songs with in the past, Somewhere Wild and Free from the Dallas album, who is also an incredible human being at his core, but also, someone who knows how to efficiently and effectively tell a story of a song through beautiful music on guitar. And so so I reached out to Bill, and in the meantime, Valerie, like I had highlighted those things. I started a text with Bill, myself, and Valerie, and I said, here are the hooks that I think, stand out to me. He said, oh, the rest of Forever has, great ring to it. And I said, that's what I was thinking. So we were done. Valerie gets to Nashville, and we get in the writing room. And Valerie has footage of that day. It was just the most magical, beautiful thing. Bill just starts in on guitar, Brandon, and Valerie just falls to pieces. She just absolutely just loses it and starts crying. And Bill is so crafty with his lyrics, and so I'm sitting there on my laptop, and Valerie's, just like the whole thing. It was amazing to just watch the song come together in a couple hours. And there were some tweaks done afterwards, but for the most part, the thing was knocked out. I mean, it practically wrote itself. And Bill is just an amazing human being and a great writer as well. And Valerie, I mean, she has a writing background too, actually. So, and she's also a creative. So, when you have, that's why I love Nashville. There's not a stigma anywhere about collaborating with people, and I love people so much that, like, I mean, it works out great for me. I get to be in the middle of like these wonderful people, who have the inspiration, me as the artist, and, with a creative writing background, and can bring some melodies to the table. And then there's Bill, who plays, amazing guitar, and he also is a great writer in all capacities. It's just, how can you go wrong? And, it was really great being in the room with them and writing an actual story, taking it verse by verse. And that means so much to me that one is one of your favorites. It's definitely more Texas sounding, I feel like.
Yeah, it is. And like I said, I definitely use that term smorgasbord because I'm that way now, listening to all the music that crossed my desk and all the reviews we're given on singles and albums now is a growing media outlet too at the same time. So whatever crossed my desk and I like it, man, I just put that on the playlist and then get to jam out in the truck with a lot of things that gets listened to because I have that time, between the drive to work and the drive home and things like that too. So I can critique music, and sometimes at work, I'll just put it up close to my ear, and just listening to the lyrics is very important to me. And I think that's something that I get to do. I'm very lucky to do that here on a platform like this. I want to put this out here before we get to rapid fire. October 11th in Nashville, and people can go to DeidreThornell.com for the tour dates and shows that are coming up. October 11th, Sam Jams at 6:00 in Nashville coming up there. So if people in that area, it's my number one listen to market. So definitely, if you're in the area out there, Sam Jams to see Deidre at 6, October 11th there in Nashville, Tennessee. If I was in town, I would be going to that too, which next time for me is going to be CRS 2023. So if you're performing during that time during CRS, I'd love to come see you. You also got a couple things you're working in December. The Music of Nashville at 8:00 on December 6th and December 15th at the Music of Nashville too as well at 8:00 there in Nashville. So if you guys are going to plan on seeing Deidre live in the show, go ahead and do that and check out the website out there too. All right, let's do some rapid fire. I know for me, I kept busy during the pandemic. Well, we had a baby during the pandemic too. She's now, I say baby, she's 2.5 now, so she's almost 3 in next April. So I get to see her kind of grow up right before my eyes and just enjoy being a dad now. So that was life changing for me. Anything for you that was life changing during the pandemic? Did you find yourself writing more? Did you find yourself doing some things, some hobbies that you didn't get to otherwise when the schedule was busier before COVID? Where did you kind of share your time, mostly kind of self reflection, or through writing, or was there a life changing event that occurred?
Wow, that's great. For me, I was pretty much after I got furloughed from work, and then all the shows that I had coming up for that year had completely canceled from when it was April through, or no, sorry, March through December at that point, because no one knew what was going on. I was just like everybody. I mentally, creatively, physically, I was like eating crappy, and the only thing I was doing was going to Lowe's and looking in the plant section. And I was walking my dog about 3 times a day. At one point I was at the grocery store up to 3 to 4 times a day just to get out of the house. And, and mentally, just like by the time I had returned back to work after about 4 to 5 months I was having a hard time. And, like a lot of people. Right. And, that's when Liz walked into my part-time job, and she sat down, and we just sparked up a conversation. And it was the first time that I felt like someone had wanted to hear my journey. And like, I had so much to say about a lot of different things, music and life and just like, whatever. And we just connected. And then after that, the next day, literally after we met for coffee. And then that's when she showed me the things that she had written down on all these papers. And I was like, we've got to write together. And so during that pandemic time, truly was pandemic writing. So we got together and wrote as much as we could, and with Tim as well, Tim Pasley. And that really just pulled me right out of that funk. And such a blessing. It was such a blessing in my life.
Well, I can tell you this. I know with eating the wrong way, and of course, having a couple of drinks and things like that, but it was pretty cool to experience fatherhood and just kind of be home for that time to see my little girl grow, and just to watch her where she is now, man. It's like getting up every morning going, we had this beautiful miracle during the time. And it was pretty cool to see your girl. Like I said, 2.5 this weekend, will be 3 next year. And man, it's been a pleasure being her dad. And I love saying that here on the show, because now she's like, daddy on TV. Well, that's part of it too, doing some of the shows, or daddy talking, or this and this and this. So being a parent, it does change your life. But I think for me, the first 9 months, they're not kidding, are hard as hell. You don't get much sleep, but as they grow a little bit older, things get a little bit easier for it too, which is a good thing now, because she's a little more self-independent. When it comes to,
speaking of daddy on TV, the ad that just played right before we came back from the break, so good. I was like, wow, Brandon, like looking sharp. I haven't even seen this part. I mean, below, it's like, wow. I was like, from your shirt to like the whole thing, it was great. Good job.
A great TV company helped us out during the times we got to do a little bit. We're still kind of rebranding some things, but hey, moving forward, I know it's going our way, no doubt, and looking forward to seeing what God has in store as we finish this year and go into 2023, no doubt. Let me ask you this: as far as hobbies, things like that, I mean, we can talk about during the times, but now, even I know some artists are doing things they may not otherwise get a chance to do, whether it be spend more time with family, eat right, work out, garden. I've heard it all when it comes to hobbies. Go to the mall more, spend money, whatever, or spend money they don't have, or spend somebody else's money. We've heard it all here on the show. What other hobbies outside of music do you get into beside music?
Oh my gosh. Okay. This is a new one for me. Back in April or May, I had a friend who asked me if I would be interested in playing pickleball. And back then it was like not a thing. And I have another good friend who plays with her grandma and her mom whenever she goes to visit them in Florida. And I thought I considered it an old person sport because it's easy on the knees, right? And like I just, I didn't really see myself. And I played some tennis in high school. Sorry, Coach Henderson. I mean, was never there. So when I say I played tennis in high school, it was like I was always in the choir room. I skipped class to go there. So I'm not really a sports person per se. So I kind of was hesitant, but I was like, shoot, whatever. Yeah, like I'll try pickleball. So we went and we played at the pickup night or whatever. It game changer. The game is so fun. It's literally for everybody. I mean, they now set up like I was doing some shopping in the mall in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
2 young guys just freaking set up a net right in the middle of the freaking mall, and they're playing pickleball right there, just in the mall. They taped off their own little court, and it's like I felt like I was in a time warp. I'm like, is this the 1980s? Like, what is happening? And so I've learned to love it now. And so you can definitely find me playing pickleball at least once a week, maybe once every 1 to 2 weeks. I try.
Yeah, I got an update today. It said something about pickleball, and it was, and I haven't looked totally into exactly what everything entails with it, but I know that NBA superstar and Los Angeles Lakers forward LeBron James had purchased a pickleball team today. Is what one of these news things came through, and I went, first of all, what is that? Second of all, LeBron James because his name really sticks out there, but it did say on the update, for what it's worth, Associated Press, I think it was he had purchased a team or something like that, and I looked at it and I was like, this thing is becoming more and more popular out there. So
that is hilarious. So I was at Liz's house, I don't know, several weeks ago, and just hanging out, talking, and come to find out her husband is on some kind of like pickleball like league that they like won some kind of championship or something. I don't even know, but it's like this is becoming a serious thing here. And I'm like, I'm not good enough, I don't think, to play in a league yet. But I mean, that's something I would maybe kind of like to do. It's like Jake Owen and golf, Vince Gill, golf, Deidre Thornell, pickleball, Mary Morris, pickleball. You know what I'm saying?
It's becoming a thing, no doubt. I tell you, I can't wait to kind of read more into it and get the rules and some things there and kind of watch some video, no doubt, too.
Don't even try. Just don't even try. You have to just do it, because the first time someone explained the rules to me, it was like, okay, we're going to have to go over that at least 8 more times before I even swing this thing, right? And it's not a racket, it's a paddle. Mm-hmm. And you got to be outside of the kitchen at certain times. And good luck.
Well, I just may have you show me what to do as we get together and do some fun stuff with that too, because you may have to show me how to play this thing, or if you're on a team, I might join your team, because I'm kind of dying to get into it now, and I don't have anybody like physically around me right now to be able to do that. So we get to meet in person at a show or something when we just break out a net and bring a couple of those paddles, and let's me and you play some pickleball. I think I'd enjoy that.
Well, listen, that's what kids are for. You got one now. Well, you're going to raise a pickleball champion.
I guess. Or maybe, bring her. She can play with me and play with yourself too as well when it comes to things like this too. This will be a cool thing. You're right. It's becoming a thing now. So hopefully we get to enjoy the gist of this. And I can't wait to get to Nashville. Next time I'm there, we're going to go out for coffee, and I'll be there in March for the CRS 2023 event. I guess if they'll have me back, hopefully they will. Haven't been guaranteed a spot yet, but we get to register coming up here in December. Your music is fantastic. I love the Texas vibe to it. Like I said, quote me on Ohio, because it is a fantastic top 10 single out there. It's a radio right now. So make sure you guys, if your station's not playing it, make sure you call them, your local country station, to request it, or get in touch with me. We'll get it over to them, to that particular station. What we have to do there. Check her out at DeidreThornell.com. And of course, for the latest tour dates, merchandise, things out there. Hey, I appreciate you making time and coming back always here on the platform. Hope you enjoyed our chat, and we look forward to doing it again, no doubt.
Oh, thank you, Brandon. This was so fun. I can't wait to hop back on at the next song. They're just going to be hopefully flowing out next year. So just got to keep pushing forward, right?
That's the name of the game, no doubt. And I know there's more to come here. And again, Ohio's out there across all the digital platforms. Make sure you guys go check it out if you have not already. We gave you a little glimpse of it, a little taste today. But hey, for that full version, I always say, go get the record, go get the single out there across all your platforms, wherever you download.
Shoot, I'm going to quote you on that top 10. This could be top 10 easily. Listen, y'all, Brandon Morrell said that, so he's backstage pass, so it doesn't better than that. So,
well, you know what I was telling this the other day? I like to make bold predictions here on the show, and one happened about a year and a half ago to Priscilla Block, and you see where she's at right now. When I said big time artist, going to get the record deal, going to keep moving, blah blah blah, and she has. And then one of our recent guests on there, you're probably going to know very well, but she's booming right now, and people were kind of like talking to me in Nashville. Some rumors going on, and I'm gonna throw her name out there because you may have met her or you may have crossed paths, but she's kind of it's hot right now. Megan Patrick is starting to blow up in Nashville now too. She just came on with me last week. So yeah, I like to make some bold predictions here on the show from time to time. And I could be wrong. I'm not perfect, but hey, the thing is when I know the ears hear something and the body can react to it, that's usually a good sign of the senses are going very well. So those few things have come very true, no doubt too. And we've seen people like Drake Milligan blow up on this America's Got Talent show. And another prediction I made the other day, Morgan Miles, who's a good friend of mine too, she's on The Voice for this season. Watch out. Early on, I've seen all the blind auditions come through, Deidre, and to me, she's the one that stands out the most with her vocals right now, that being Morgan Miles. So I think she's going to win the damn thing and go on to national stardom, no doubt about it. So hopefully things do come true. And I love seeing it too, because it's a pleasure having you guys here on the show, because without you guys, there is no Backstage Pass. It's all about the artist and what you guys do and the appreciation and the love for music that I have. So it's a big deal to me. But definitely thanks for being a part of this. We're going to do it again as 2023 rolls in. And of course, tomorrow, guys, don't forget Lacey J. Dalton. I mean, enough said right there. She's had a huge career in music, about 40 years of that, coming on at 4 o'clock. And then on Friday, she just came off American Idol just a couple of years ago. Man, I think she was in Australia. A text message I got the other day. Lacey K. Booth here with us here on the show from American Idol. We'll talk about that and then some. We'll see you guys tomorrow with Lacey J. Dalton on the Backstage Pass. Until then, Deidre, thanks so much as always. We're going to be in touch as we go into the new year. Thank you. Thanks again.
Oh, thank you. I guess while I'm here, I should try Bangtail whiskey, huh?
Try that Bangtail whiskey. Yeah, thanks to Bangtail whiskey and our friends over at Hank Jr. Productions. I'll get you a link to that. I'll text you a link to that where you can get you a bottle of that too. It's really good. I may have a glass tonight too as we on hump day for the week now, no doubt. We'll see you guys tomorrow on the Backstage Pass. Until then, have a great night. We'll see you soon.
Bye, everybody.